Hello, welcome to Next Level News. As always, I'm your host, Skyler Nations. Coming up, we will have stories on eSports, E3, and Breath of the Wild 2, E-Edition. All of that and more on Next Level News. Sad news for those of you who are a fan of the dynasty known as E3. COVID was a death sentence for the already struggling convention. The convention was the Super Bowl of gaming conventions. Started in 1995, E3 has been the be-all, end-all of gaming events. The place you wanted to be as a dev and the showcase you wanted to watch as a gamer. Or at least it was. E3 used to be the biggest place to see massive game reveals, the place you'd go to see the reveals of the industry that would define the coming years. However, in the past 5 years or so, the biggest developers and publishers have started to pull out of the convention. Nintendo moved on to their Nintendo Direct platform, Sony with their State of Play, Ubisoft with their Forward event, and so on and so forth. With all these major players dropping out of E3, it started to feel hollow in the 2018-2019 era. Then, COVID hit. E3 2020 completely canceled. E3 made a return in a digital-only format in 2021, and that seemed to be how E3 would be from then on. It was revealed, however, early on that the E3 2022 would not have a live event format, so it was assumed that it would be a digital event. Sadly, that's not the case. It was revealed on March 31st that E3 would be indefinitely canceled in all formats. There is some hope, however, as well-known award show host Jeff Keighley seems to be keeping his promise of continuing the Summer Games Fest, a show that can replace the missing E3 hole in all of our hearts.
The highly anticipated sequel to Breath of the Wild will not release this year like it was originally planned to. It's officially been pushed back to the spring of 2023. Series producer Eiji Aonuma apologized for the delay in a new video, stating it'll take just a little bit longer to make this game something truly special. As part of the apology, we got a tiny bit of new footage from the game where Link pulls out a messed up version of the Master Sword. Aonuma also promised an expanded world and a wider variety of features. Still unclear what exactly that all means, but if we just have to wait a few more months to find out, then I'm cool with it. So, after 5 years, Nintendo updated the Switch's UI. Switch's users have begged for a way to make the system's dull menus more customizable. And half a decade into the console's life, they've finally added folders. When their other systems launched with unique features like menu themes and customizable greetings and catchphrases and Miiverse and Street Pass compatibility, it's a little weird that this late into the console's lifespan we're finally getting something as basic as folders. Or, sorry, groups. Not even willing to give the basic feature a basic name. Oh well, at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. Because it's nice to finally have it. Now I can finally group together all my favorite games into fun categories like Mario games, not Mario games, and homework. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some homework to catch up on.
Welcome to the Boise State's eSports segment of the show. I am Giovanni Paraiso, the eSports nerd. Let's get right into it. On March 18th, Boise State recently competed in the ECAC tournament in Albany, New York at the HV GamerCon. They brought their Overwatch, Rocket League, and Madden player to compete this weekend. First, Boise State's Madden player Wacy placed second place in the ECAC tournament and won $500. Then the Boise State Rocket League team competed in a best-of-5 tournament and they won third place against Wayne State College. This match was a best-of-5 that went through all 5 games, but unfortunately, Boise State lost to a last-second clutch shot. The Rocket League team won third place in this semifinal match. Finally, Boise State's Overwatch team competed against Bay State College in the finals of the ECAC tournament. This match went to all 5 games, but Boise State fell short and also won second place in the tournament. In other news, the Mountain West Overwatch Championship took place on March 16, and the Boise State Overwatch team went up against UNLV. These two teams have been competing with each other in the finals for 3 years straight, and so another intense battle of this rivalry was lined up. Boise State took the championship title with a scoreline of 3-2.
With every new Kirby game comes a flood of new fans reaching that part of every Kirby game. It's practically common knowledge that the series isn't as it appears on the surface, but despite this, people always seem shocked when Kirby's Dream Land suddenly turns into an absolute nightmare. For those of you who are still in the dark, this is absolutely by design. Kirby lives in a place called Dreamland. One of the series' earliest villains is literally named Nightmare, though he would end up being one of the tamer big bads. The developers of the series have gone on record as saying that they design worlds to become more unsettling as you progress through them, all of it culminating in a confrontation with whoever you thought was the villain, turning out to be under some sort of mind control. Then, the eldritch horror truly behind it all reveals themselves. Like a nightmare, the dreamlike world suddenly shifts into something much darker, and you realize this story is no longer about a fight over a slice of cake, but may perhaps decide the fate of the universe itself. Of course, none of this matters much to Kirby. After everything's said and done, he just goes back to his everyday life, as if it truly all was just a dream. So, how is that new Kirby game? Let's take a look. Kirby and the Forgotten Land finally launches the pink puffball into 3D. A big step for the traditionally 2D series, but the big change doesn't really feel that big. It's still your pretty typical Kirby experience, but that's by no means a bad thing. I'm Caleb Stinson, and this is what to know about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby games. Cute, fun, and all around a good time. The series is all about the idea of easy to learn but tough to master. Levels are tightly designed, making use of Kirby's unique copy abilities to create creative puzzles and challenges. Sure, you can breeze through levels, but if you want to find all the hidden collectibles, complete every challenge, or test your skill against some of the game's secret bosses, you really gotta push yourself to the limit. While I was able to beat the main game's story on release, I'm still struggling to beat the game's true final boss. So your standard Kirby fare, really nothing new. As for what is new, we have Mouthful Mode, where Kirby can wrap his mouth around objects to gain unique abilities. Each ability provides more opportunity for more unique puzzles and challenges that add to the game's already expansive moveset. Ability upgrades are also a super fun addition. Being able to create a beefed up version of your favorite copy ability is fantastic and makes you feel really powerful once you reach the endgame. There are 6 main worlds you'll need to fight your way through, each with its own boss based on some kind of animal. Throughout the levels you can rescue Waddle Dees who will come back to the hub world, Waddle Dee Town. The more Waddle Dees you rescue, the bigger your town gets, with more areas and mini-games to play. Now, as a Kirby fan, there's one thing I value in a Kirby game above all else. Sure, it can be fun, and it can be cute, and whatever, but the most important thing is that the game expands on the universe's lore. Over the course of the Kirby games, we get to learn a lot about the greater Kirby universe, an ancient civilization that created all sorts of incredible technology. Each creation they left behind, and those who seek them out, have caused a great deal of trouble for Kirby and friends. I think the Forgotten Land we explore in this game is where the ancients originate from, how they gained some of their knowledge, and potentially how many disappearing civilizations are there in the Kirby universe. Probably a lot. I know Earth exists in the Kirby universe already. It's called Shiver Star. It was frozen over in Kirby 64. Wiki, there are lore videos, and go look it up. This stuff's wild, I promise. You will not regret it. Anyways, a pretty standard Kirby experience overall. Fun game, hard challenges once you reach the end, and some pretty interesting lore if you're willing to look into it. While it's not the series-defining leap some were hoping would come with 3D, it only proves it didn't need to be. It's still a really fun game, and I absolutely recommend it. So, I'm Caleb Stinson, and that's what to know about Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
And that will do it for Next Level News. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm your host, Skyler Nations. We will see you next time on Next Level News. I'm off to play even more Elden Ring.